For decades, the concept of manifestation has been hijacked by the mystical and the metaphysical. It has been painted as a process of wishful thinking, where you close your eyes, visualize a new car or a promotion, and simply wait for the universe to deliver it to your doorstep. Because of this framing, the scientific community has largely scoffed at it, dismissing it as pseudoscience or the placebo effect wrapped in spiritual jargon. But if we strip away the magic and look strictly at the mechanics of the human brain, we find something startling. Manifestation, when stripped of its woo-woo connotation, is actually a rigorous psychological protocol known as cognitive priming and directed neuroplasticity. We live in a reality of infinite data. At any given second, your senses are receiving millions of bits of information: light, sound, temperature, micro-expressions on a stranger's face. If your brain processed all of it, you would collapse from a seizure. To survive, your brain must delete 99% of reality. It has to curate a user interface that only shows you what it deems relevant. Manifestation is simply the act of logging into the admin settings of that interface and changing the filter parameters. When you practice manifestation daily, whether through visualization, scripting, or affirmations, you are not asking the universe for favors. You are issuing a command code to your nervous system. You are telling your biological hardware what to focus on, what to ignore, and what trajectory to calculate. You are moving from a passive state, where your reality is dictated by your past traumas and default biases, to an active state, where your reality is constructed by your future intentions. Today, we are going to explore the neuroscience of belief. We will dissect the reticular activating system, the mechanics of mental rehearsal, and the dopamine-fueled engine of prediction error. This is what happens to your body when you stop hoping and start designing. The most immediate physiological change that occurs when you manifest involves a bundle of nerves at your brainstem called the reticular activating system, RAS. This is the gatekeeper of your consciousness. The RAS is responsible for the cocktail party effect, the ability to focus on a single conversation in a loud room while tuning out everything else. It decides what information gets access to your conscious mind and what information gets relegated to the background noise. For the average person, the RAS is programmed by default settings: survival, immediate threats, and familiar patterns. If you believe the world is scarce and difficult, your RAS will literally censor out opportunities for abundance because they do not match the filter. You will walk past a $100 bill on the sidewalk and not see it because your brain has deemed it irrelevant data. When you manifest daily, you are reprogramming the RAS. By consistently focusing on a specific outcome, say a career opportunity, you are tagging that outcome as high priority. You are telling the bouncer, let this data in. Suddenly, you start noticing resources, conversations, and patterns that were always there but were previously invisible to you. This is not magic, it is selective attention. Your brain begins to hunt for evidence that aligns with your visualization. You become hyper-aware of tools that can help you achieve your goal. This state of heightened alertness is the first biological shift. Your sensory processing machinery recalibrates to match your intention. The human brain has a flaw, or perhaps a feature, that is critical to manifestation. It struggles to distinguish between a vivid imagination and an actual physical experience. When you close your eyes and visualize yourself performing an action, like giving a speech or running a race, the same neural pathways light up as if you were actually doing it. This phenomenon is known as functional equivalence. Research on athletes has shown that mental rehearsal activates the motor cortex and strengthens the synaptic connections required for the skill, even without moving a muscle. When you manifest a specific future reality daily, you are leveraging neuroplasticity. You are laying down the neural train tracks for a destination you haven't visited yet. Biologically, this reduces the cognitive cost of the action when the time comes to perform it. If you have visualized yourself succeeding in a high-pressure negotiation every morning for a month, your brain has already lived that success 30 times. The neural pathway is thick and insulated with myelin, a fatty substance that speeds up signal transmission. When you finally walk into the negotiation room, your brain is not entering unknown territory. It is running a familiar script. You feel less anxiety and more confidence because, neurologically speaking, you have been there before. Manifestation is the act of making the future familiar, turning the impossible into a memory of something that just hasn't happened yet. One of the biggest misconceptions about manifestation is that it makes you lazy, that you will just sit on the couch and dream, but neurochemistry suggests the opposite. Daily manifestation engages the brain's dopamine reward system. Dopamine is not just the molecule of pleasure, it is the molecule of motivation and pursuit. It is the fuel that drives an organism to go out and forage. When you visualize a reward, the promotion, the relationship, the health, your brain releases a spike of dopamine. This serves as a prediction. Your brain now expects this reward. When you open your eyes and realize you don't have the reward yet, this creates a psychological tension known as prediction error. This gap between your visualized reality, the goal, and your current reality, the lack, is a powerful driver of behavior. Your brain wants to close the gap. It wants to resolve the error. This pushes you into goal-directed behavior. You find yourself working harder, taking risks, and persisting through failure, not because you are forcing yourself with willpower, but because your brain is chemically agitated to align your external world with your internal map. Manifestation turns your goal from a nice-to-have into a neurological necessity. You are biochemically compelled to chase the vision you have implanted. In traditional psychology, confirmation bias is viewed as a cognitive error. It is the tendency to search for, interpret, and recall information in a way that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs. If you believe people are mean, you will interpret a neutral glance as a glare. If you believe you are unlucky, you will remember every red light and forget every green light. It is a filter that reinforces your current worldview. However, manifestation is the art of weaponizing confirmation bias for your own benefit. By consciously choosing a new belief, I am capable, the world is full of opportunity, you force your confirmation bias to work for you instead of against you. When you manifest daily, you prime your brain to scan the environment for proof that your new belief is true. You start collecting data points of success. A small win at work becomes evidence of your genius. A friendly interaction becomes evidence of your charisma. This creates a positive feedback loop. The more evidence you find, the stronger the belief becomes. The stronger the belief, the more evidence you find. You are essentially hacking your own cognitive software to build a case file for your own potential. This shifts your baseline emotional state from defensive pessimism to strategic optimism, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where you are more likely to take the actions that lead to success because you are convinced success is inevitable. The biggest barrier to achieving any major goal is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. This fear resides in the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. When you think about a big, audacious goal, the amygdala often lights up, flooding your body with cortisol and triggering a freeze response. This is why we procrastinate. The goal feels dangerous. Daily manifestation acts as a form of exposure therapy. By repeatedly visualizing yourself in the scary scenario and visualizing yourself handling it with calm and success, you are engaging in fear extinction. You are teaching your amygdala that the scenario is safe. If you visualize yourself giving a public speech every day, and you pair that visualization with a calm, relaxed body state, you are breaking the association between speech and danger. You are recoding the stimulus. Over time, the amygdala stops sounding the alarm. Your window of tolerance expands. This physiological shift is crucial because it allows you to operate from your prefrontal cortex, the logical, strategic brain, rather than your reptilian brain. You stop self-sabotaging because the goal no longer triggers a survival response. You can approach high-stakes situations with the physiological calmness of someone who is just doing the laundry. The deepest level of manifestation is not about what you want, but about who you are. It is an identity shift. Psychology tells us that humans act in accordance with their self-concept. If you identify as a smoker, you will smoke. If you identify as a healthy person, you will go to the gym. Behavior follows identity. When you manifest, you are often using I am statements. I am confident. I am a leader. I am wealthy. This is not just wordplay. It is a restructuring of your self-schema. Biologically, this can touch on the field of epigenetics. While you cannot change your DNA sequence, you can change your gene expression, which genes are turned on or off. High levels of stress and a belief in helplessness can activate inflammatory genes that lead to illness and fatigue. Conversely, a state of empowerment and optimism can downregulate those stress genes and upregulate genes associated with immunity and resilience. By consistently embodying the emotional state of your future self, feeling the gratitude and confidence before the event happens, you are bathing your cells in a different chemical cocktail. You are moving from a chemistry of survival, cortisol, adrenaline, to a chemistry of creation, DHEA, oxytocin. Your body begins to biologically align with the version of you that exists in your vision. You literally become the person who is capable of achieving the goal on a cellular level. We often talk about manifestation as a mental exercise, but it is deeply physiological. One of the most critical players in this process is the vagus nerve. This is the longest cranial nerve in your body, running from your brainstem down to your heart, lungs, and gut. It is the command center of the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. Most people live in a state of low-level fight or flight. Their vagus nerve is underactive, their heart rate is slightly elevated, and their breathing is shallow. This broadcasts a biological signal of desperation and safety-seeking. In psychology, we know that desperation repels. If you enter a job interview or a date with a nervous system screaming, "I need this to be safe," people can feel it. It is a repelling frequency. When you manifest daily, specifically when you visualize your future with a sense of calm and certainty, you are stimulating the vagus nerve. You are toning it like a muscle. This increases your heart rate variability, HRV. High HRV is the biomarker of resilience and coherence. It means your heart is responsive, your brain is calm, and your body is in a state of homeostasis. When you operate from this state, you are no longer broadcasting desperation, you are broadcasting authority. You walk into a room and people feel safe around you because you feel safe inside yourself. Your nonverbal communication, microexpressions, tone of voice, posture aligns with your intention. You become magnetic, not because of magic, but because a regulated nervous system is evolutionarily attractive. People want to be near safety. By regulating your vagus nerve through manifestation, you become the safest, most capable person in the room, which naturally attracts the opportunities you are visualizing. When we look at the mechanics of manifestation through the lens of psychology and neuroscience, the mysticism evaporates, and we are left with a powerful biological truth. The brain is a goal-seeking servo mechanism. It is designed to bridge the gap between where you are and where you perceive you should be. For most people, this mechanism is on autopilot, recreating the same limitations and fears day after day, because the target has never been updated. They are running old software on new hardware. But when you manifest once a day, you are stepping into the cockpit. You are manually inputting new coordinates into the navigation system. You are not just wishing, you are engaging the reticular activating system to find resources. You are using neuroplasticity to build skill. You are leveraging dopamine to drive action. You are calming the amygdala to remove fear. You are essentially optimizing your biological machine to execute a specific program. So, the next time you sit down to visualize your future, know that you are not just daydreaming. You are performing neural surgery. You are tuning the instrument of your life. And when the instrument is tuned, the music changes. Thank you for watching.